This is USVI News, your Virgin Islands connection.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for USVI News. As we begin another week, I'm Emily Matson. The FDA has fully approved Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine. This is great news in the fight against coronavirus. This makes it the nation's first vaccine to move beyond emergency use authorization. The FDA says the vaccine has been approved for those ages 16 and older. Health officials have said they hope this move will get more people to roll up their sleeves and get vaccinated. It could also lead to more businesses and schools to mandate vaccines. The vaccine will still be available under emergency use authorization for adolescents between the ages of 12 and 15, as well as a third dose in certain immunocompromised individuals. And a heads up, the Department of Health is again giving free COVID-19 vaccines this Saturday from 7 o'clock in the morning to 11 in the morning at the Agricultural Fairgrounds on Centerline Road in St. Croix. The Health Department says you can stop by, support local farmers, buy fresh, locally grown produce, and protect yourself from COVID-19 all in one shot. Meantime, let's take a look at the latest case counts here in the territory. 323 people are currently testing positive for coronavirus throughout the territory. That's according to the latest numbers from the VI Department of Health. There are 106 active cases in St. Croix, 200 in St. Thomas, and 17 in St. John, which is certainly higher than we have been seeing in the small island of St. John. According to the VI Department of Health, all the people currently hospitalized because of COVID are not fully vaccinated. Police in St. Croix have a likely homicide investigation on their hands after a woman is found stabbed to death in a vehicle. Last Friday, around 11:30 in the morning, 911 got a call to Vista Concordia to investigate a woman found dead in a vehicle. Emergency crews arrived and determined not only was the woman dead, but was in early stages of decomposition. Investigators say the woman had suffered multiple stab wounds throughout her body. At last check, the case has still been classified as a possible homicide pending autopsy results. The woman's identified as 56-year-old Lucy Lindquist of Morningstar Circle. Anyone who may have any information which could help police in their investigation is urged to call investigators. Now to the latest on the recovery efforts in Haiti. More than 60,000 buildings were destroyed or seriously damaged, and Haiti's government said some 600,000 people need aid, anything from food and water to a place to live. Humanitarian workers are expecting aid deliveries to pick up. Matt Rivers is in Port-au-Prince with the very latest details.
Well, we managed to have a conversation here in Port-au-Prince on Saturday with the man leading the response for USAID here in Haiti. They're here in support of the Haitian government as they continue their search and rescue operations. And unfortunately, now more than 1 week after this earthquake hit, this representative from USAID telling us that the shift is beginning to happen, going from a search and rescue operation, unfortunately, to more recovery operations, moving into the next phase of what will surely be a long recovery process from this earthquake. They haven't officially made that yet, but he said that shift is beginning to happen. He talked about how USAID spent the day in concert with Haiti Civil Protection Agency, visiting several different hard-hit villages, basically going and trying to figure out exactly what each one of these towns, these villages, very hard hit by these earthquakes, exactly what they need. What they were told the top needs are water, food, and shelter, crucially. Shelter in many different places, according to USAID, the #1 concern at this point. In good news, they say they do have a lot of air assets and even barges that they believe they can use to get aid to where it needs to go, but basically saying they want to strike while the iron's hot, take advantage of the fact that they have these air assets that they didn't have, earlier in the week to get aid to these places. We're told the Haitian government, the Civil Protection Agency, is trying to prioritize which places are the worst, which are next, in order to get the aid where it is needed the most. That is the status of the what is still a search and rescue operation moving into the recovery phase more than 1 week after this earthquake hit here in Haiti.
And of course, one of those places stepping up to help the Haitians are people right here in the Virgin Islands. We continue our coverage on how the Virgin Islands community is trying to help the Caribbean nation. Our USVI News' Ali Bourne-Vanek has more details on that. And she also spoke with a Haitian doctor who is in Haiti helping to save lives.
In just over a week since Haiti's 7.2 magnitude earthquake, hundreds of thousands of people are in need of humanitarian assistance. And in the territory, people like May Leader are trying to help.
A lot of you may know I'm first Haitian, so doing this is not just something that I'm doing for myself or for my community. This is my life. This is my passion.
Her passion, she says, comes down to humanity and helping people. She hopes that message can help those who need it in Haiti, her beloved heritage and community.
Now it makes it even a million times, harder for everyone. Not just for the, my heart goes out to the families and it goes to everyone. But as a mother, watching children losing their parents and parents who probably was in the next room or next to each other losing their children. So that troubled my spirit. That troubled my spirit. And right now it's terrible. If we watch the news, you'll be able to see what's going on and how houses, buildings collapsed. It's devastating, to say the least. It's really devastated. And I can only imagine, as an island sister that we are here, if it was us, how would we feel?
May has created a fundraiser to raise money to help with medical, education, and humanitarian efforts. Her friend back home in Haiti, who's also a doctor, is continuously working with fellow doctors to help save lives.
We do need emergency support, like water, food, things like that. But most important, I'm repeating it, most important, what we need is about, sustainable help, something that can last for more than a day, more than a week, more than a month.
This must be just bringing back so many really difficult memories and times from those that survived in 2010, and then here we are in 2021.
It's not a good feeling at all. And when you are a victim, even you are a direct victim, or you have people, living this tragedy, it's really not easy. Thinking that they might need water or food or a shelter to rest, and they are not able. They have to stay under the rain. They see the sun, they see the darkness, so it's not easy over there.
It's not about where we're from, how we sound like, how we look like, but it's really what's happening here. And I think that shirt, as I put it on this morning, I smiled and I cried at the same time. It's about humanity, It's not about up island, down island. It's really about helping one another. And I just want to thank everybody who reached out to me and started helping, continue to do so. And I promise you, I'm not perfect, but I promise you, whatever you help with is really going to change somebody's life, not me. So please continue to do so. Let us, start that example, not just for us, but for the little ones who are watching us.
In St. Thomas, Ali Bourne-Vanek, USVI News.
What devastation. It's great to see those Virgin Islanders stepping up. And from coast to coast, people are volunteering to help with this humanitarian crisis in Haiti. USVI News also spoke with the leader of a relief agency out of Maryland who is currently in Haiti volunteering. Billy Andre leads AUDRA, which is an international relief agency. He shared with us some of his footage from his time in Haiti, which you're seeing right now on your screen. He says they've been active in Haiti for 20 years now, but nothing quite like the current conditions that they've seen following a catastrophic earthquake and then that tropical storm, which is impacting lives as well as infrastructure and access to roads. He tells us on top of everything going on, COVID-19, of course, is in the background as well, and everyone is just doing what they can to stay safe. He tells us there is a sense of unity right now coming together to help Haitians in a time of need.
It's hard to measure damages to people's emotions, but there is something about people who are still traumatized by the aftershocks and not being able to have a place to sleep. And on top of that, having rain, having to spend the night outside, with little shelter materials. So it has affected the morale.
And Andre tells us even some of the volunteers helping out in Haiti are sleeping outside and in their vehicles because shelter material is just so scarce there right now. If you want help, you can visit the relief agency website at ADRA that is, .org. After a 17-month hiatus, the Carnival Panorama set sail from Long Beach, California over the weekend. It marked the first cruise to depart from the Golden State since March of 2020. Carnival Cruise Line has recently announced new COVID-19 safety precautions, including asking all guests to wear masks in certain indoor areas and adding a pre-cruise testing requirement for all guests. City officials say the cruise ship industry is a major component of the local economy in Long Beach because there are more than 21,000 jobs in the entertainment and hospitality sector. We can, of course, certainly relate here. Authorities believe the Panorama's trip, which set sail on Saturday, is expected to bring a big boost to the local economy and open up jobs for many more people, too. The Panorama is on a week-long journey to the Mexican Riviera.